There's always money in the banana stand!
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Price Check. I believe the episode number for today is going to be 39. My name is Octavian. I will be your host, and I've got a stash tab full of rare unidentified gear here. Let's dig in. For anybody just joining us on this episode of the series, this is a series in which I will be going over a stash tab full of unidentified rare gear, or possibly some magic jewels thrown in there just for spice, and I'll be IDing them, pricing them, and giving my justification for the decisions behind my pricing. This is all with the intent of allowing people to learn pricing through example, which is how I learned best, and I figured out some other people might as well, so may as well help out how I can. Now, let's get started. Rune Knuckle, not a great start, doesn't have a good life roll on it or any resistances. Moving on quickly now, we do have a ring that maybe on day one would have fetched a chaos or two. There is no past tense of fetched. It's not fotched or anything. Yeah, no. That aside, yes, with a life roll like this, without any damage mods and with mediocre resistances at best, I think this is vendor food. Plus 1 all attributes, not a great start. Doesn't have any life either. 40 cold res is really all this ring has going for it. We see life on an abyssal jewel. That's a good start. It's a very low life roll, though I believe that is about as low as it possibly can go. Might be able to go one tier lower than that, but it's pretty darn low. Cast speed can be nice. The eye level's not particularly high, so I don't think it sells just because of the base. It does have a low level requirement, which means it could be nice for leveling, so I'm kind of tempted to keep it myself just for that purpose. Because abyssal jewels can actually be rather nice. If you pick up a jewel socket early on, you can just throw that in for a little bit of flat life and some quality of life stats, and cast speed can very much be a quality of life stat for leveling a character. I might just keep it for that. I think I will. I don't think it would get more than a chaos or two, so I'll just keep it for my own leveling purposes. Diamond ring base, other than that, though, not really anything of note here. One thing you can do that was recently discovered is a full set of gear similar to the Chaos recipe or the Regal recipe. A full set of Shaper touched gear, or I believe also Elder touched gear. I don't know if you're able to mix the two, but a full set of Shaper touched gear or Elder touched gear vendored will give you Exalt shards. And you'll get even more Exalt shards out of it if they're unidentified. However, I think I'm still going to be identifying my Shaper and Elder gear, mainly because oftentimes through even just crafting, I'm able to make more than what I would get from the recipe, even on bad Elder and Shaper bases. Maybe later in the league this won't be the case, but a few times I've gotten a Shaper or Elder touched ring, I've been able to craft it for curse on hit and sell it for a pretty hefty profit, much more than the Exalt shards would be from the recipe. So FYI for anyone who might have been worrying about that or wondering about that as to why I have ID'd Shaper and Elder gear in my tab. And why I'm vendoring it without doing the recipe. Anyways, this stuff is garbage, all that aside. We've got 42 life, which is not very much. The rest of the ring's pretty junk. Percent max mana, fizz with one-handed melee weapons, no attack speed nods, no crit multi, no life. Plus 6 life is pretty bad. This is eye level 81, but we're late enough into the league that I don't think that that's going to really matter that much. We'll check and see if the base would sell, but at this point I very much doubt it. That's a lot of additional physical damage to minions. Really? That's only tier 3. That roll goes very high. Wow. That could be really strong. There's some interesting things you can do with that. Max ES isn't even necessarily bad in a lot of minion builds. You can definitely go something like low life for many, many minion builds. So this might be worth something. We'll check it out. No life roll. Same here, though the ES roll is potentially relevant, especially on a Chaos Res base. Generally speaking, though, you're not looking for flat fizz on an item that has ES and is on a Chaos Res base like this. Horrible lightning damage roll, obviously. Decent int, though. If that lightning damage roll were better, this could maybe be good for Hawa. The flat fizz doesn't really matter, but you want int, you potentially want ES if you're going an ES version, which often you would, and percent lightning damage is obviously good. Maybe we put it up for a chaos or two, we see if it sells. Ooh. That's close to being pretty good. The 35 life is unfortunate, but 44 lightning res is solid. It's on a diamond base, and that's pretty good flat lightning. Yeah, we can list that, sure. 93 life, no resistances or anything, though. That's just vendor food. No movement speed, no life. Lightning damage to spells, eye level 77. I may as well throw an Aug at this, it's T2. That hits a life roll, it's probably worth something. So we'll augment that. Augments aren't really even money, so it's not a big deal. 12 life, no resists, no life really. Well, 68 life is okay, but not very good for a chess piece. And no resist. Really, we're looking for ES rolls on Valregalia anyway. Solid helmet. Pretty darn good life roll. And it's got some mana for mind over matter stuff. Strength can be nice for minion builds. Oftentimes they are starved for that on the tree. And a solid resistance roll. Not a very exciting helmet, not very spicy or anything. Nothing neat going on, but it's very vanilla and solid. Will likely sell. These are just junk. We've got 90 life, 40 strength, and a res. It's on a good base too. Royal Bergenet is pretty great. Eye level 83, so I don't think it's worth something for the base. You'd want to be eye 84 or higher. But the rolls are solid, so we'll go ahead and list it. All right, and let's aug this, see what happens. Didn't get life like I was hoping. Got chaos damage to spells while holding a shield instead. All right, I'm just going to put a wild stab in the dark and throw that up for 2C. Been having a lot of interesting sales on abyssal jewels, so my instinct is to vendor that, but I don't think that that's quite correct. This I was going to keep for leveling, so we can go ahead and throw that in that tab. And it's just other random uniques as well. I need to sort that. What have we got here? I-81. Right, I was going to check and see if that's worth anything. So let's switch over to the browser window. I sincerely doubt this will be worth more than maybe a chaos, and I likely won't list it. Stygian Vise, item level 81, just generally. What's this base worth? A few Alex of Chaos. Yeah, sure, we'll put it up. Put it up for 1. That jewel, the Minion jewel, I would like to actually price check. I want to see how much that fizz roll is worth. So we're going to try and isolate that. So, what's the syntax on it exactly? Minions deal additional. Minions deal abyssal jewels. Minions deal physical. How good is the roll? We've got 9 to 15, which is 24, so that's an average of 12. And that by itself, just the fizz roll, isn't worth it. Seems more than the base price of a jewel, which is around a chaos to an alch. We do have a decent ES roll, and we can go ahead and factor that in. But I don't think there will be enough of these. I don't think there'll be enough of a demand for these for the market to have a really accurate price. And yeah, that jumps massively. Up to 10C and then an X and above. What's going on here? Minion Leech? Movement speed for minions is really nice. I still don't think that's worth 65C, but it is really nice as a stat. Very small sample size, very jumpy price point. I'm just going to start it at 5C and be happy if I get a sale there. Seems fine. Alright, let's check out this bone helmet. This one had 98 life, a decent mana roll, 39 cold res, and 29 strength. So that's over 100 life total. Pretty nice breakpoint to be hitting, so we'll throw that in. We've got some maximum mana. It was 57, so let's just put in like a minimum of, say, 45. And I'm going to start with that, just a bone helmet with a large life roll and a bit of mana. And that's like 4 to 10 chaos, it seems. Yeah, this doesn't have res, that has worse res than ours. This one has better total res than ours and a bit of strength, and it's up for 4C, but it's only been up for an hour. This may be a bit underpriced, might sell quickly. I'm not sure. 10C was where I was initially going to go with this, and I think that seems about accurate, though this has a crafted res roll. But yeah, this is 20, but it's been up for a day. I'd like this to sell quickly, so I think I'm going to go ahead and throw that up for 10C. This Royal Bergenet, then, has 110 life and 33 lightning res. Very simple helmet. It's 110 life with the strength roll. Resistance, pseudo total elemental resistance, and we're going to go with a minimum of 30 here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do, you may have seen this trick a few times if you've watched this series. Number of total nope, that's the wrong one. Resistance. Number of elemental resistance is maximum 1, so it's going to look for 1 elemental resist that is at least 30. Oh, and I forgot to specify helmet. Silly. Okay. What have we got? Quite a few results here. We could specify the Royal Bergenet base if we wanted to. And that will likely narrow it down, and we might get some pricier items, and I could list it a little bit higher. Yeah, we're looking at like 1, 2 chaos instead. But yeah, it's a very basic helmet. I'm not surprised that it isn't too expensive. I'll list it for 2C though. Alright, that ring with the flat fizz, 40 int and 42 ES. Another one that I don't think will have too much value, but I like to price check a lot more things at the start of a league so I can get a real sense of where the league is going in terms of the meta and in terms of what items are going to hold value and that sort of thing. So, over 40 ES. The fact that it is int specifically is pretty relevant here. So over 40 ES, over 40 int, and we don't have a good res roll, but there is space for a crafted one. We can factor that in. The more I think about it, though, the more I think that this ring is really just going to be vendor food. Yeah, lots of results that fit that, and lots of different bases. The base is potentially useful, and with a crafted res roll, maybe it sells, but the crafted res roll is going to cost about as much as the price I think it'll fetch, so that's just going into volley. And last but not least was this diamond ring, which I think I'll just throw up for a chaos. No real need to price check it. Okay. Rest of the tab, which is not there. There we go. A few interesting items already so far. Hopefully some of those sell. That bone helmet seems like it's the most valuable thing that we found at this point. But maybe Navali will reveal another thing or two for me. There's a point halfway through IDing an inventory that I just get impatient and start spam clicking everything. Bleaching poison is not too useful. The rest of this I don't think is very worthwhile. I am interested to see whether people are just going to start buying Shaper or Elder Touch bases to try to complete the recipe though. So I might hold on to it just for that reason. Yeah, I'll just hold on to it, check that later. 40% wet, wow. That's basically perfect, right? Yeah. I mean, goes up a little bit higher than that, but not very much further. And it's got life and it's got a res implicit. A little bit of accuracy doesn't hurt either, I guess. Open suffix for a craft of a resistance. That's a darn solid ring. Not amazing by any means, but it's okay. It would do. And that's just how valuable a damage roll on a ring can be. Mind damage attack speed with a bow is not too useful. You can do bow mine builds, but generally speaking attack speed is not that important for them, since the only attack you'll use is maybe blink arrow. Alright, we'll hold on to that as well. We've got 75 life here, but nothing else of note. We've got some dodge chance. 35 life is a little bit too low to salvage the rest of that ring, which was admittedly fairly good. No movement speed on those boots. Yeah, scepter, I think I'll just vendor. Yeah, we'll hold on to it. I've got a lot of stash space now, we can maybe do the recipe. Maybe. 79 life, a decent dex roll. Nothing else though. No damage rolls, no red, no res even. And that ring was just junk. So, I'm going to go ahead and toss this away. We'll put these in their own little tab. Doop, doop, doop. And let's see what I can craft on this ring. Likely just a res roll will be correct. We could put an all res roll on here. It would give it the most total res if it hits a good roll. And a decent spread. It wouldn't give it... Like, it would have a decent amount of cold res. It would have like 30-something cold res. And then a little bit of fire and lightning. I think that actually makes the most sense. 7 is unfortunate. We hit the lowest roll. But that's okay. Still 21 total res, which is, you know, about as good as what these would have done. And now we've got 30-something cold res, so that'll show up in searches for cold res. It'll show up in searches for high damage. Not super high in life, though. And I think I'm going to start that at 10. I don't think it'll sell at 10, but I'll start it there, and we'll lower it a bit over the next day or so. And let's finish out this tab.
Hello.
It's a solid ring. What else have we got? No spell crit, no flat to spells, no attack speed. Those are really the rolls I'm looking for in a dagger most of the time. +1 to max fire res is kind of nice. It's eye level 81. I mean, this with its current rolls is not really worth much, but somebody might want to craft on that on just an Elder Shield base 4+ to max fire res for like a RF build. Pardon me, still losing my voice from the last few days. think I might be coming down with something. Let me just check this real fast. So we'll just look for, let's tab over to PoE Trade. Look for any old Elder's Shield that is item level 81 or higher, and see if that just has some value by itself. It does not, though a lot of these bases are pretty junk. This is actually not a terrible base. It's 25% block chance, and it's got a life implicit, so maybe it being a Pinnacle Tower shield will matter. I don't think it's a great armor base, though, so for something like Spectral Shield Hero it may not matter, but hey, look, that's got value, about 2, 4, or suddenly 20 chaos, though this is eye level 84 and this is 81 and 82, so this is closer to what we've got. We can throw that up for like 4 chaos, just match the market. Cool. Glad I checked. Go ahead and sort through the rest of this. Elder Belts are probably worth something. This one's actually not that horrible. It's got some all-res in the belt slot, which is a little odd. I don't think it's worth anything because of its current rolls. Might be worth something because of the base, though. The studded belt is not a great base. I will check. High level 79 Stygian Vise, that's just vendor food, and that as well. Alright, this can go up for 4. And let's check this last belt. Belts, just any old belt that's Elder Touch 9 level 81. Are you worth something? Oh, we're gonna have to check non-unique, because there's gonna be a lot of those. Rarity, non-unique, go. 1 chaos minimum, though it jumps up to 2 pretty quick, so we could probably list it for 2C. I don't think that it being a studded belt particularly is going to matter. 4 or 5C. Odd. These have all been up for a good long time, though, so I think 2C makes more sense. This is a decent belt by itself, though, so I think I'll just put it up at like 3? 3 or 4? Yeah, we'll do 3. And maybe it sells because someone wants the belt with those specific resistances. Maybe it sells because it's an Elder Touch base. Either way, I would make money and I'd be okay with it. Anyways, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, then feel free to subscribe here on the YouTube channel. I will be releasing these videos at least every other day. I'm going to aim for daily, but we'll go for every other day. And I do stream daily as well. You can find a link to that in the description below. Feel free to tune in. I'm there for 7 or 8 hours a day. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you in the next one.